Einen wunderschönen Willkommen zum heutigen Abend. Willkommen zu einer weiteren Runde mit und von und überhaupt Gabriel Knight. Ich muss kurz überlegen, wo waren wir stehen geblieben? Genau, Wolfgang hat uns geschrieben, ne? Wir haben Post gekriegt, richtig? Genau, Gunthers Tagebuch. Wer ist denn jetzt schon wieder Gunther? Ach ja, Gunther war ja der andere. Genau, vorweg, heute bis 23 Uhr, ne? Weil morgen unterwegs Richtung, also zum Schicki, übermorgen Gamescom, vielleicht übermorgen Abend wieder zu Hause, vielleicht. Ansonsten Sonntag zu Hause. Ich versuche, dass man vielleicht das eine oder andere an Input bekommt, vielleicht irgendwas Livestream oder so, keine Ahnung, von der Veranstaltung dort oder so. Vielleicht morgen Abend mit dem Schicki-Boy eine Runde. Es hängt von vielen Sachen ab, ne? So von Müdigkeit her und so, ne? Gucken wir mal einfach. Also lassen wir uns überraschen. Ich gehe aber fest davon aus, dass wir Sonntagabend uns hier wiedersehen werden. Spätestens, wenn nicht sogar eher. YouTube ist alles vorbereitet. War ich schon fleißig. Genau. Apropos fleißig, Gabriel ist auch fleißig, ne? Haben wir noch was mit Grace zu besprechen? Glaube nicht. Bam, bam, bam.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
Could you research Rada drums for me?
Rada drums? Sure. I don't think we have any books on that topic in the shop, but I'll contact our suppliers. Assuming any of them will extend you any credit.
Tell them it's an emergency.
Uh-huh. I can see where a Rada drum book would be incredibly urgent. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Apropos, als ich gerade Grace gesehen habe, Moment. Ich muss schnell den Kommentar finden. Ich habe dann auch recherchiert dazu zum Kommentar. Soweit, so gut. Warte mal. Der Frank hat geschrieben gehabt, was mir zu denken, aber auf die letzte Folge von Gabriel Knight 3, ne? Was mir zu denken gibt, sind die Abschiedsworte von Emilio, also von Basa, ne, zu Grace. Sie müssten jetzt gut auf sich Acht geben. Das sagt man normalerweise zu Schwangeren. Und ich habe aufgrund dessen mal recherchiert, also hier so, ne, Gabriel Knight Wiki hast du nicht gesehen. Es soll auch Hinweise dazu im Spiel selber geben, also in den Texten und sonstiges im Spiel, die jetzt nicht so explizit sichtbar sind. Scheinbar ist Grace schwanger. Von dem da. Also, nee, dem da. Ich denke mal, das scheint nach dem 4. Teil. Und was ich gar nicht so mitbekommen habe, dass sie irgendwo nach Tibet oder sonstiges zu der Schattenjägerschule gegangen ist. Soll irgendwo gewesen sein. Ja, diese eine besagte Nacht, wo er sich so gefürchtet hat, dass ihr irgendwas passiert. Da ist es passiert scheinbar. Teufel noch eins. Okay. Was wollte ich denn jetzt? Ach ja, wir sind ja auch ein neuer Tag. Wir könnten auch theoretisch zum, wie hieß das? Moonbeam, glaube ich. Moonbeam.
I'm out of here. Try not to sell out the store while I'm gone.
Uh-huh.
Aha.
Welcome, Sika. You must be the one Dr. John called me about.
I guess so. My name is...
Wait! Gabriel Knight.
You're too quick for me.
Actually, Dr. John told me. You have come to the right place, Mr. Knight. Tell me how I can help.
Ah ja, mit dem müssen wir halt auch hin, zu dem Professor, ne?
That doesn't seem to work that way.
Okay, wie funktioniert's denn dann?
Does this mean anything to you?
It's beautiful. I love it.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, but if you know where I can buy one...
Sorry, it would be rather hard to find one these days.
Oh, well, so be it.
Does this mean anything to you?
These are magical symbols.
Sie ist halt schon laut.
Deep magic.
Really? Have you seen them before?
No.
Then how do you know they're magic symbols?
Seeker, my eyes are unveiled to see truly that which is in front of me.
Uh-huh. Thanks, tons.
Since Magenta has a snake, it might be best not to discuss the snake scales with her.
Was nochmal?
Since Magenta has a snake, it might be best not to discuss the snake scales with her.
Jetzt siehst du da drüben erstmal. Ach du Gott.
A large, sluggish snake rests on the floor of the fancy bird cage. Apparently, Magenta is not a fastidious housekeeper. A shed skin shares the cage with its original owner.
Guck mal, hier ist eine Schlangenhaut.
Magenta's snake looks a little sickly, but Gabriel would still rather not stick his hand in the cage. Since
Da.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Of course, Seeker.
Okay.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve. It is the greatest night of the voodoo year. There is always a traditional conclave on St. John's Eve. Most of our voodoo churches these days hold functions in the church hall. But in the old days, they had ceremonies out in the wild. They wore animal masks and had a huge bonfire and dancing. I used to go when I was an apprentice. Sometimes in the swamp, you know, Bayou St. John. Sometimes at the lake, Lake Pontchartrain.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
My practice is mainly selling charms and potions with magic power, such as gree-gree and voodoo oils. You know, everything from unrequited love to wandering spouses to winning a lawsuit.
Und gibt's
But my
funktioniert?
spells and charms are powerful, and they work.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Much of a voodooienne's work is protecting her clients from the spells of others. I make special protective gree-gree to be worn in secret. They keep evil spells from working against my clients.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
The recipes for voodoo charms have been handed down from master to apprentice for centuries.
What can you tell
Das kann
me
lange
about
dauern.
voodoo?
I have told you all it is proper for you to know, Mr. Knight.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Why, that has nothing to do with me and my clientele. But I can tell you that you should stay as far from it as possible. There is badness there. Very bad.
So you don't think the voodoo aspects of the case are fake?
Fake? Let me tell you about fake. If I get information through the grapevine and make use of it, is that fake? No. That is part of a voodooienne's power. If people don't believe, there's not much I can do. But if they do believe, that is a part of my power too. But there are things, monsieur, things not even a little bit fake, I can tell you. Believe it or not, but stay away from it.
What do you mean? Do you know something about the case?
I work hard on fine-tuning my spiritual antennae, Monsieur Knight. And I get a clear signal from that direction. Beware.
What can you tell me about Nolans?
Nolans.
Nolans is the center of voodoo practice in the United States.
What can you tell me about Nolans?
It is a fascinating city with many dark secrets.
What can you tell me about Nolans?
It is my favorite place in the world.
Wo? Das hier ist keine Gurke.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? You mean like my beloved Grimwald? She's a python, you know, quite deadly in the wrong hands. I was trained by one of the great voodoo queens to learn how to hypnotize and handle snakes.
Tell me more about snakes.
Oh, I wouldn't want to give away my trade secrets.
Also, die Schlange hypnotisiert das Kaninchen, ne, um es zu lähmen. Was macht das Kaninchen? Es lahmt. Grimwald?
About Grimwald.
What about her?
How about showing me how you handle Grimwald?
Really? You would like to see me dance, perhaps?
That would be swell.
No matter what you see, do not be frightened.
Nö,
I'll
nö,
give
nö.
it my best shot.
Ich habe schon andere Gruselspiele gespielt. Alles gut. Ich kann nicht speichern. So, ja, ich krieg das
Gabriel
Ding.
grabs the shed snake skin while Magenta is otherwise occupied.
Die ist mit Telekom verbandelt. So, zeig mal her die Schlangenhaut.
Gabriel magnifies the shed skin from Magenta Moonbeam Snake. The snake scales are hued brown. They don't match the scales
Das ist
from
eine
Lake
Python, hat sie
Pontchartrain.
gesagt. Ich dachte, die Python macht... aua. Oh. Oh, ich hänge fest. Bitte lass es mich nicht kaputt gemacht zu haben.
There. Truly inspiring, isn't
Ja.
it?
That's certainly one word for it.
Oh, danke. Oh, puh, ich dachte schon. Guck mal hier.
It's not that easy to get a message from the crystal ball.
Ja, dafür kann ich nicht. Das ist, glaube ich, Python 1 sogar.
Gabriel figures that many men have picked up things in Magenta's parlor, but he'd rather not. A large crystal ball is prominently displayed.
Na klar steht da Kristallkugel. Hat sie doch gerade gesagt, schon viele andere Männer haben schon Dinge aus ihrem Raum genommen hier, ne? Also auch schon mal Ars. Fagedialoa-Maschine, okay.
It's impolite to mess with other people's
Abend,
stuff.
Atalantana.
Gabriel should wait until he's asked.
Guck mal, hier alte Lichtschalter noch, ne? Mit.
Could I ask you a few more questions?
Certainly.
Do you have any idea what Gabriels means?
No. No, I don't.
Do you know anything about Veves?
I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh, yes. She was the first of the great voodoo queens.
Tell me about the animal masks.
I saw them used once or twice when I was younger, but you don't see them much anymore. They're too close.
Too close to what?
Just bad karma.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndful?
There are many voodoo churches in Nolans, no?
Knowledge?
Yes, but have you heard of a secret voodoo houndful?
Wherever did you hear such a ridiculous story? There is no such thing.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
It is the oldest, darkest heart of voodoo.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
There are some things it's better not to know about, Monsieur Knight.
Mission Night.
Does Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard the word Schattenjäger?
I don't know anything about that.
Puh, zum Glück.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes? What would you like to hear?
How did you get into this business?
I trained in the voodoo arts for many years with the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Who's she?
You have never heard of her? For shame. I can see you know little of the world of magic.
I'm beginning to get that impression, yes. What kind of people come to see you?
Seekers after the truth, such as yourself.
Do you do anything else?
I'm a voodooian. That is plenty. It takes much spiritual effort.
Da weiß sie, wer die größte Lore ist.
How many voodooians are there?
No one knows exactly. Many practice in secret. There are probably hundreds. But of course, the level and the power of the voodooians differ greatly, depending on their training and natural gifts.
Ja, was auch
Tell
immer.
me anything at all.
I haven't always lived in Orleans. I came here from Kansas,
Ah,
as a young
Kansas.
woman.
Mit den schönen roten Schuhen.
Tell me anything at all.
I began studying voodoo more than 20 years ago. I'm well versed in the magical arts.
Weil sie was zu verheimlichen hat.
Tell me anything at all.
Many non-believers come to me. They are usually believers when they leave.
I can't think of anything.
Very well.
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
All right. Here's an old one. Take a lodestone and some brimstone to a crossroads at midnight. Light the brimstone with a match. A spirit will come and give you advice in gambling.
Das machst du falsch.
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
Here's an old hoodoo Dr. Gree-Gree. Place a dime under your client's tongue. If the client is under a spell of any kind, the dime will turn black.
Oder hat sehr aggressiven Spucke, ne?
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
To send someone away, take a rotten egg and write that person's name on it 9 times. You can also write on it where you want to send that person to. Take it and throw it against his door at midnight.
Aber wenn er einfach gehen soll, kann ich das Ei doch auch an die Person werfen, oder?
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
Here's a nasty one.
Oh.
To kill someone, get a sock or shoe that belongs to that person. Put graveyard dirt in it and bury it under their front steps.
Does that work?
I don't know. I never tried it.
Give me an example of Gree-Gree.
To ensure the safety of your child, cut a lock of its hair while it is still a baby and keep it with you. The child must have all its hair before it can die.
These are interesting.
They're very old. The Gree-Gree that I prepare is much more powerful, I can assure you. But I don't give out those secrets.
Ja, da kannst du ja unsterblich werden. Schneidest die Locke ab, gibst es halt irgendjemanden, der soll es verbuddeln oder verstecken oder was auch immer. Und du stirbst nicht, weil du kannst ja nur sterben, wenn du vollständig bist. Ich war ja heute beim Friseur. Oh, ich bin unsterblich.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Where did you get Grimwald?
She belonged to a traveling reptile show. She was being terribly mistreated, so I offered to buy her. She's named after a spirit guide I had once. The spirit Grimwald was a very powerful female snake priestess in Egyptian times.
Ja, das klingt genau
Grimwald
nach
doesn't sound
einer ägyptischen
Egyptian.
Priesterin.
I only know what the spirits tell me, monsieur. I am sure they know better than we.
Oh. Jetzt ist es durchsichtig, guck mal. Ja, ist ein Gösser. Ist not sponsored. Schmeckt halt gut. Ich dachte, ich gönn mir heute mal.
How did you learn how to handle Grimwald?
I told you, a great voodoo queen taught me. She learned from Marie Laveau herself.
Uh-huh. Fascinating. Would you consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
No, I couldn't do that. You might do some gree-gree of your own, no? One must be very careful with such things. Hair clippings, nail parings, and snake scales.
Are you sure you wouldn't consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
I told you, I couldn't do that.
Okay.
Nothing. Never mind.
All right.
Dr. John tells me you're a voodoo practitioner of some kind?
Yes, I'm a voodooienne, a voodoo priestess.
Kennt man nur das? Ich sehe es ja hier doch. Guck mal. Sieht man doch. Naturradler. Zitrönchen. Ja. Guten Abend.
Nice place you've got here.
Thank you. For me, it's a sort of temple.
I can see that.
There's a chest in the corner that looks like a carnival machine. It's impolite to mess with other people's stuff. Gabriel should wait until he's asked. Gabriel figures that many men... Gabriel figures that...
Could I ask you a few more questions?
Certainly.
Achso, hat man die jetzt,
About...
warte mal.
What about her?
Tell me...
You have to be careful when handling a snake. They're more delicate than they look.
I'll bet. Nothing. Never mind.
All right.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes? What would you like to hear?
I can't think of any.
Okay. So, jetzt gehen wir noch mal.
Gabriel magnif... The snake scales are hued brown. They don't match the scales from Lake Pontchartrain.
Kann man die trotzdem... Das war hiermit, ne?
Gabriel magnifies the shed skin from a gentle moonbeam snake. The snake scales are hued brown. They
Okay.
don't match the scales from Lake Pontchartrain.
So, vielleicht will sie ja noch irgendwas anderes hier. Dieses Dings will sie nicht. Was haben wir denn noch? Das hier vielleicht.
Could you look at this and tell me if you recognize anything about it?
That's from those voodoo murders, isn't it? That has nothing to do with me.
Die kriegt morgen Karl, okay. So, was war das jetzt? Ich habe jetzt leider nicht aufgepasst.
Could I ask you if...
Sir,
Are you sure you can't tell me anything about this photo?
I'd rather not look at it again.
Gabriel can't see a way to use that.
Ja, hier, guck mal. Kennst du den?
That doesn't work that way.
Mist. Ach so.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Yes, but we don't use those anymore.
Okay.
That doesn't seem to work that way.
Ah, warte mal, hier der Voodoo-Code.
Do these symbols mean anything to you?
Ah, the voodoo code. It is very secret, yes. I studied it with my mentor, the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Great. Can you tell me what it says?
I'm afraid I could never translate this code for an outsider such as yourself, Monsieur Knight.
Also muss ich als Gläubiger werden, oder was?
Can I
Oder?
ask you a few...
So,
Are you sure you can't translate this for me?
as I said, it's a very secret code.
Surely you can see I'm trying to learn as much as I can here. How am I supposed to become an insider if you won't help me?
That's true, I suppose. Perhaps if the Loa were to grant you their approval,
How do I get that?
by using my Ask the Loa machine.
A machine?
Yes. A spirit guided me to it years ago in an antique store, and its guidance has never faltered. I trust it implicitly.
I see.
The spirits often work in mysterious ways, Mr. Knight. If you aren't willing to ask...
No, I'll ask. Let's see here.
Muss da...
Yeah, they are rather picky, aren't they?
Siehst du, und unser Anna heißt Oktopus. So, warte mal.
Could I ask you a few more questions?
Certainly.
Could I try talking to the Loas again?
If you think you can convince them to grant you their approval, of course.
Muss da irgendwas stehen? Ja, wa? Warum verstellen sie sich hier so unterschiedlich? Trusty? Okay, warte mal. Nein!
Well done, Mr. Knight. You have earned the Loa's approval.
Truly, it's an honor. Now, about that code.
Let me see. Well, some of it is nonsense, I'm afraid. Whoever wrote this wasn't very good.
Okay.
That's all right. Just tell me what it says.
It starts with a D and J. Then... okay, this part makes sense. It says, Conclave tonight, bring... well, then there's more nonsense. F-W-E-T-K-A-S-H. The last bit might mean cash. Fresh cash? Doesn't make much sense.
Fat
That's
Cash.
okay. Thanks. DJ Conclave K-A-S-H. It's a start.
I'm happy I could help.
Ach, da.
Gabriel gazes at the translation of the code that Moonbeam gave him, pondering who wrote it and for whom it was meant.
Okay, ist auch Englisch. DJ Conclave tonight. Bring FWET Cash. Hieß so nicht der Typ?
Could I ask you a few more questions?
Certainly.
Well, I guess I'll be going now.
As you wish. The only vice is the absence of love.
I've heard that. Bye now.